meeting with George Ray, who's a Baptist pastor from North Reading, Massachusetts, and he told a fantastic story about an ice farm in Wenham, Massachusetts. You know what an ice farm is? It's a lake where they cut ice and harvest it and put it in ice houses and then sell it back before refrigeration. That some of you remember, refrigeration widely comes in, I think, 1920 or so. So, Peter, you remember as a boy. Anyway, so the story about this ice farm is that they were harvesting the ice in the winter and they were cutting it and they would put it in these ice houses had walls that were like 2 feet thick, and then you would put the ice in and cover it with sawdust and then put another block in and cover it with sawdust so that you had all these blocks of ice that would last throughout the summer, and they would ship ice from Wenham to England because Queen Victoria was like, anyway. So the story is that they had these guys who were harvesting it, and one of them lost his pocket watch, which was a big deal because pocket watches were expensive, and he was the guy who's cutting the ice and shoveling the sawdust is not high on the totem pole. And the fact that he lost his watch, so it falls in someplace in the sawdust, and so the guys are all trying to support him and breaking it up and trying to find his watch, and can't find the watch. And after however long, they decide we're not going to do it. So they go back to harvesting ice, and this one young man leaves the harvesting of ice, goes back into the ice house where they think they've lost the watch, closes the door, lies down in the sawdust, and in a few moments comes back out with the watch. And they say, how did you do it? How did you find the thing? And unlike what I know Dan's thinking, oh, he prayed and he found the watch. He said, no, it was very simple. I laid down in the ice and I shut off everything else and I listened for the ticking. And when I could hear the ticking, I could find the watch. And what George said, this is why I'm giving him full quote, or full credit because I'm stealing it. He said, when you're stopped and just listen for God's ticking, you hear it and find exactly what you need. You have to shut everything else out. It's with that in mind that I'm going to read Proverbs chapter 14, and I'm going to read it through twice. I'm going to read it through, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the verses that resonated with my soul. And then at the end, I'm going to read it again and just allow you to hear God's ticking. One of the things about Proverbs is, as I've said before, it's a little bit like preaching from a stack of fortune cookies. You have all these little texts and tidbits of wisdom, and it's sometimes difficult to make a coherent message out of the whole thing. And that's true, although one of the things about it is that in many ways Proverbs is a tool for reflection. It's a tool for allowing God to speak into something into our life. If we allow it, just read it and see what resonates. Because at different points, at different times, different things will resonate with us. This is why Proverbs is probably the best way to get into a Bible habit. If you're not in the practice of taking some time each day and just allowing God to speak into your life, Proverbs is an excellent way. There are 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs. There are 31 days in every other month. So you just, whatever day of the week or day of the month it is, it's the 14th day, I'm going to read the 14th chapter and just allow it to speak to you. If you're not quite up for 4 chapters a day or 3 chapters, whatever. Proverbs is a good way to just allow God to speak. Proverbs chapter 14. The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down. Whoever fears the Lord walks uprightly, but those who despise him are devious in their ways. A fool's mouth lashes out with pride, but the lips of the wise protect them. Where there are no oxen, the manger is empty, but from the strength of an ox come abundant harvests. An honest witness does not deceive, but a false witness pours out lies. The mocker seeks wisdom and finds none, but knowledge comes easily to the discerning. Stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips. The wisdom of the prudent is to give thought to their ways, but the folly of fools is deception. Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can share its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end it leads to death. Even in laughter the heart may ache, and rejoicing may end in grief. The faithless will be fully repaid for their ways, and the good rewarded for theirs. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. The wise fear the Lord and shun evil, but a fool is hot-headed and yet feels secure. A quick-tempered person does foolish things, and the one who devises evil schemes is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evildoers will bow down in the presence of the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. It is a sin to despise one's neighbor, but blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. Do not those who plot evil go astray, but those who plan what is good find love and faithfulness. All hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. The wealth of the wise is their crown, but the folly of fools yields folly. A truthful witness saves lives, but a false witness is deceitful. Whoever fears the Lord has a secure fortress, and for their children it will be a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, turning a person from the snares of death. A large population is a king's glory, but without subjects a prince is ruined. Whoever is patient has great understanding, but one who is quick-tempered displays folly. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their Maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. When calamity comes, the wicked are brought down, but even in death the righteous seek refuge in God. Wisdom reposes in the heart of the discerning, and even among fools she lets herself be known. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns any people. A king delights in a wise servant, but a shameful servant arouses his fury. The text starts off with, the wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down. The wise woman builds her house, but the foolish one tears hers down. I read this and it made me think about asking myself the question about what I'm doing. You have two options: building a house or tearing it down. How is what I'm doing at this very moment contributing to the construction or the destruction of my house? You know, if I've got a brick in my hand, Am I putting that brick in the wall? Or am I just taking it out of the wall? Looks the same. Nobody else knows. But I do. A fool's mouth lashes out with pride, but the lips of the wise protect them. I've been struggling with this past week. There have been some situations that I wanted to speak into. I had some hot tongue to deliver to some folks. But I wanted to speak out of my own pride, my own sense of self-worth, my own, I know better than you, my own, you're a jerk and I'm not. We get angry out of pride. We get angry at somebody else because we want to show something about us and we want to make them smaller and us bigger. You know, if you're confident in who you are, if you know that you're a child of the King and that's all that really matters, then other people can do dumb stuff and you don't feel the need to go, oh, let me explain to you how it really should be. If they want some help, they can ask for it. It's the line. Free advice is unvalued because of the price that was paid. Don't give it away. Don't correct folks. Oh, that the fool's mouth lashes out with pride, but the lips of the wise protect them. The lips, they're supposed to hold those words back. Button it, tie it, throw away the key. As a plumber's father says, right? You can't say nothing nice. Don't say nothing at all. Right? We just go to scripture. Fools mock at making amends for sin, but goodwill is found among the upright. Fools mock at making an amends for sin. One of the things about living a religious life is that sometimes people will say, I don't understand why you spend all that time doing all that stuff. When you sing those songs, like Amazing Grace that saved a wretch like me, well, I don't like to think about myself as being a wretch. I'm better than that. That just seems stupid. But those of us who have gone through the process of reconciliation, those of us who are constantly at work at our relationship with God, constantly going through the process of making amends for sin, looking at our own lives and saying, boy, I messed up over here. I need to ask for forgiveness. I need to recognize that. I need to work against it. I need to restore. I can't just move along like nothing I do negative matters. I'm just going to ignore it. We found that actually makes our lives significantly better. It seems like the process for reconciliation, forgiveness, seems like it's a lot of work. Seems like it's a whole emotional roller coaster. It seems like it's this big thing, because it is. But it's better than the alternatives. It's worth it to have a right relationship with our God, our Creator. It's worth it to have a right relationship with another human being, because you ever have one of those falling outs with somebody and you don't address it and you just let it sort of fester inside you? Every time you see him, we're good Yankees, so we don't yell at him. We just go, hi. You talk about the weather. Sometimes people get that way with God. We get angry with God. We get ashamed with what we've done. We have some falling out with God. We don't want to do the process, the work of reconciliation there. Fools mock at making amends for sin. But goodwill is found among the righteous. We sang that song, I'm learning to lean. I'm learning. I'm not there yet. You aren't there yet. But we're working on it. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. This is one of these lovely Hebrew house of the wicked will be destroyed. You remember Eddie, right? Who lived here in Vermont for I think 3 months, 4 months in a tent until he could get a house. And all he wanted was a house. Some of you have built your own house. I'm sort of in that process. Build one. I want to build something permanent. I want something that the wind won't blow through. I've been talking to a guy who's been living in a yurt for the past 15 years in central New Hampshire. I want to make something. I want to build something that's got some permanence. The house of the wicked will be destroyed. I want to build a bunker. The house of the wicked will be destroyed. But the tent of the upright will flourish. Little Flint, you ever camp in a tent? Sleep in a tent? I hate camping. Ripside, it's cold, it's steep, but the tent of the upright will flourish. For 40 years, God is this close with His people in a tent. They finally get land, and He's still this close to them in a tent. They sort of go wandering along, and they go, we want to do better than that. We want to build a temple. And they build a temple, and you sort of get the feeling from the Bible that God would be quite happy just continuing to live in a tent. I mean, quite frankly, from heaven, you could live in the Taj Mahal or Biltmore. I saw something about the 175,000 square feet house, private residence, largest private residence in the United States. Compared to heaven, that's a shack. That's a tent. So it doesn't really matter where God's living. But they build him this temple, and it becomes this thing that just gets in the way. There is a way that appears to be right, but in the end leads to death. Sometimes we do things thinking one thing, and then we get halfway down the road or halfway down the process, and we go, this is not going to end well. Sometimes we're so stubborn, we keep doing it. Sometimes we turn around and we make a return. One of the things about worldly success, all the things that the world says is important, and you want to do this. All of those end with death. You can make a lot of money. You can, what the psalm says, have lands named after you. But you never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. At some point, you're going to die. And then how's that credit rating? Then how's that bank account? Then how's that, however many homes you happen to have? All worldly success ends. But spiritual success, heavenly success, lasts beyond the grave. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. This is one of these lovely examples of just an observation. And I love the fact that we're reading something that, let's call it 3,000 years old, and same today. You get that invite for a party. Let's see. They've got a swimming pool. I think I'd like to go over there. There's anything wrong with having a swimming pool? Get that invite to the party. I know where they live. I'm not going there. The poor are shunned even by their neighbors, but the rich have many friends. The next line is fantastic. It is a sin to despise one's neighbor, but blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. I think those two things go together. It is a sin to despise one's neighbor, but blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. What's a challenge in this? Is when somebody who is needy has more than you do? When you're trying to be kind to your neighbor, because you can see they have a need, they have a hole in their life, they have some problem that needs assistance. Maybe it's just a personality problem and you've got to listen to them and be nice and not say, you're a jerk and monopolizing all my time. It's tough to be kind to somebody else when we feel like they've got more than we've got. Particularly if we're going to, they should be kind to us. Right? If there were any justice in the world. This is a way that we get to be Christ-like. We get to give of ourselves to someone else. We get to love our neighbor. We get to be kind to someone who has a need. Whether or not they have some success or some things in other places, we get to just look at their need and address it based on that. Many times, that's one of our challenges in coming to the Lord, is that we have a need over here, but we've got all sorts of things over here that are going for us, and so we just want to ignore that need. We sometimes look at our neighbors and we see all these things that they've got, and so we want to ignore their need. Blessed is the one who is kind to the needy. Verse 31 says this, whoever oppresses the poor shows contempt for their Maker, but whoever is kind to the needy honors God. You want to know why we do stuff? Why we're kind to the needy? Why we help the poor? Because we love God. We know God made them. God made us. And yeah, we might be able to look at the whole situation and say, if I were king, I would, maybe make that person, there's some folks who I sometimes look at and go, boy, it'd be nice if they just, maybe they had an existence, they just weren't around here, right? That they had a nice, happy, successful life, well, and I never had to deal with them again. I'm sure there's some people who say that about me. The reason why we're kind to those people, the reason why we help those people is because it says something about our God. It says something about our belief in our God. And that our God made them. And I'm not in charge of the world. And neither are you. And so we'll just, why did God make them that way and God made me this way? I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's not, what's the old line? It's not mine to question why, only answer, do or die. Is that right? Name Maurice? No, okay. Where's Beagle? North Carolina. We just go about our lives interacting with people with the love of God in our hearts. And because we love God, we will love them because God made them. That's it. We may look at them in, worldly ways, go, boy, this is not very good. This is somebody who I could deal with that. What's that they say? Well, you can take them or leave them, and I'd rather leave them or take them someplace else. No, we love God, and God made them, and so we will love them. Remember, every other religion in the world, other than the biblical religion, every other religion in the world has gods that look like human beings, right? We make gods in our own image. We make gods, that if we think we're strong, we celebrate strength. If we think we're beautiful, we celebrate beauty. If we think we're athletic, we have the NFL. If we think, whatever it is that we think is important, we say, oh yeah, this is the thing that I'm going to worship. But biblical religion, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, God makes us in His image. Amen. And He shows that by coming as a little teeny baby, just like all of us were born as a little teeny baby. It's always you know that Grandma and Grandpa were once a little baby? Really? Is that with Adam and Eve? God shows us that He has made us in His image, male and female, by coming as one of us. So therefore, when we interact with somebody else, we're interacting with the image of God. We're interacting with someone who speaks about the Creator. That's why we do what we do. And when we fail to do that well, we've also said something about the Creator. And we need forgiveness, both from Him and from that person. So as I'm looking at my clock, and if I read it all again, sorry, go home, read it out loud to yourself or somebody else. As we use this text, as we use this word to speak into our lives, allow God to reveal something in your heart and your soul, and allow Him to spur you to righteousness.